Now I want to take a look at customer channel transformation. Just to recap and keep the context going, we started by saying you had to put your customer at the center. And so you have this customer centricity transformation. And it's really the start of the customer journey and making sure that that is the core of your whole strategy. But then on top of that, you have to transform their experiences as they go through the journey. And you do this with your products, your brand, and your content. So now we have to ask ourselves, well, if we've got all this content and this brand and we've got these experiences lined up for the customer, how do we get them to them? And that's where the channels come in. And there are 4 in here. 4 particular approaches which need to be taken individually because there are different skills and different strategies which apply. But they are content marketing, your overall marketing strategy, which is a separate unit in its own right, your traffic strategy, so it's putting your traffic at the center of that particular strategy, how you're going to generate the traffic that comes to it. And then finally, you've got your channel strategy, which is looking at the whole channel transformation with the emphasis on the channels. So one emphasizes content, one emphasizes the channel, one emphasizes the traffic, and then you've got to look at your marketing strategy holistically. So that's the 4th segment in this particular transformation module. Now, the issue I always had when I started off was that everybody said you had to create content. Well, that was great. So, what sort of content do I create? Do I create video content, blogs, podcasting? What do I do? So I have to think about creating my content strategically. But then when I've got it, what do I do with it? How do I actually get it out there? So that becomes a sort of almost an overwhelming challenge, because you can create all this stuff, but if you're not doing it with a plan and a framework, it gets very, very confusing and overwhelming. And which channels do I use? Where do I go to put this content? Do I put my videos on Facebook? Do I put my videos on YouTube? Do I make videos for Instagram or LinkedIn? I mean, which channels am I using? And then the idea of actually getting traffic to your content is something you have to think about. Yes, organic traffic is fine, and that's great, but there are things you can do to attract organic traffic. And then, of course, there's the whole issue of paid traffic. And when should you switch from organic traffic to paid traffic? So there's a lot of questions which I found very difficult to answer, which is why I've been doing a lot of thinking about it, which is why I brought it to your attention now. So you have to think about this in terms of the challenge. So we're going to listen to the module on this particular transformation, and then I'm going to introduce you to the next step before we dive into it. Next comes market channel transformation. You need to be where your customers already are. This means that you will need to learn how to help them find, know, like, and trust you. To do this, you will need to develop some specific skills, which include the following. Content marketing. Let your content speak for you. By consuming your content, your audience will start and continue on the customer journey, and you can bring them into your orbit and convert them from prospects to customers. Marketing strategy. Wow, there's a lot to this. There are so many digital marketing channels and strategies. This really is a science and not an art, and it is evolving all the time. Are you on Facebook Messenger yet? Channel strategy. Choosing the right channel strategy and knowing how to get the most out of it is critical to your success. You need to go where your customers already are to be found. A lot more to come from this component in the future. Traffic strategy. At the end of the day, it is all about traffic, free and paid. What I do not advise is throwing loads of money at trying to get paid traffic until you know your strategies are working. The ability to help your customers enjoy the experiences you've created for them will involve free and paid strategies to get your message out. These can be very complex and expensive. The real skill here is to design something that works and only throw money at it when you know that it does and you want to make it scale. So next up is customer engagement transformation. And the whole point about this is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You actually have to be aware of how you engage with your audience using what you've learned about content, what you've learned about the customer journey, and what you've learned about the strategies we're talking about in this module in order to understand how you can really engage with your customers and create real conversations with them, and keeping all this connected and joined up. I know it's getting complicated, but it's really worthwhile to follow through the framework because it gives you a holistic overview which you can actually use for all your digital business as you go forward. So that was customer channel transformation. I hope you found that helpful, and I'll see you in the next module.